cost over $1,500 each. That's more than $6,000 for a set, not including the spare, or $350 for each wheel. The specifications on a monster truck don't exactly read like the catalog at your GM or Ford dealer. Each monster truck is custom built, often by the driver. And while it's true that each monster usually starts with a regular pickup body, the similarity ends there. Most monsters weigh between 9,000 and 13,000 pounds, with almost one-third of that weight in the tires alone. They're usually as tall as they are wide, about 11 feet to the roof and 11 feet side to side. A typical monster truck, if there is such a thing, is about as long as any pickup, just over 16 feet. The wheelbase varies from 120 inches to 150 inches, depending on the builder. Fuel consumption, on the other hand, is another matter altogether. A fully blown alcohol burner will get 75 gallons to the mile. You heard right, 75 gallons to the mile. Or to put it another way, 70 feet to the gallon. On the other hand, a naturally aspirated or gasoline-powered monster will get 1 mile per gallon. Still not exactly the kind of mileage the American commuter is looking for. Fortunately, most monster trucks only race a few hundred feet at a time. As for speed, monster trucks are not built to set the world land speed record, but they can motor right along. Top speed is 50 to 60 miles per hour. Of course, that doesn't count when you're jumping cars. The steering wheel on a monster truck looks like a pickup steering wheel. As a matter of fact, it is. The steering wheel is only part of the actual steering mechanism. Power steering on the front is normal hydraulic steering for a heavy-duty truck like an 18-wheeler. There's a separate reservoir and pump. The hydraulic pressure on the front tires is over 1,800 pounds per square inch. The hydraulic fluid is running at 6 gallons per minute while the wheels are turning. The basic steering system is pretty simple, but not small. It's big enough to turn 5-foot wheels that are over 3 feet wide with a standard steering wheel. The axles on this monster are 10-ton Clark planetary ends with 5-ton Rockwell centers from some pretty heavy military equipment. The rear tires can turn independently from the front. How do they do it with only one steering wheel? It's all done with this little switch, which most drivers run with just their thumb or finger. It activates an electric motor, which in turn runs the hydraulic steering, this time in the rear. Because there's less weight, it only takes 1,400 pounds of pressure per square inch to turn the rear wheels. All suspensions used to be leaf springs. Now the newer trucks are going to coil, big coil springs. Since they don't build shock absorbers that are big enough and can still fit a pickup, you need more than one. How about 4 or 5 for each wheel? While the newer coil springs provide better control because they generate better travel, they also create more travel. These heavy-duty straps stop the suspension travel from going too far. The way these monsters can bounce around, they could bounce right out of their frames. Actually, the brakes aren't really monsters. They're just really clever. On most vehicles, the brakes are on the wheels, whether disc or conventional shoe. But can you imagine the size of the disc that would be necessary to stop a wheel this big? It's been estimated to take a 3-foot disc brake. Here's the brake on a monster truck. It's just an ordinary car or truck brake. What's important is where it is, right here on the differential. This way, the brake gets a 19-to-1 advantage before the power is carried from the differential. No more power, and the monster comes to a quick and safe stop most of the time. Most monster trucks start their lives like any ordinary pickup truck. They're usually 3-quarter or 1-ton models. In fact, if you look carefully along here, you can see the original frame. Special supports are welded on to raise the ground clearance and provide needed strength. This truck's added a kind of bridge work, not only to stiffen the frame, but protect it when the truck lands square on a car. The bodies are unchanged from stock, except for 3 things. First, there's no bed in the back. Monster trucks aren't used much for hauling, so why carry the weight? Besides, this way it's easier to get to the fuel tanks. Second, you've got to move the door opening mechanism to the bottom of the door. No one is tall enough to reach a regular handle on a truck that's nearly 12 feet tall. And finally, there's the paint job. Some monsters, like Master of Disaster, use beautiful graphics, all hand-painted and lacquered for shine and protection. For safety, all monster trucks have roll cages and very heavy-duty seat belts. You can get really bounced around inside these trucks, even when you're careful. The engine is the heart of any monster truck. On Master of Disaster, the big block Chev engine is blown, injected, and burns alcohol. Its 572 cubic inches delivers almost 1,800 horsepower to all 4 wheels. The blower is belt-driven for quick, sure response. Injectors are used just to get the fuel volume to the engine. It's like a shower when the engine roars. The injectors are pumping fuel at the rate of a gallon every few seconds. Remember, monster trucks only go about 75 feet per gallon, and they can cover 75 feet